Alright, so this is two reasons why I'm doing it. Technically three why I'm redoing this video, and even though I already uploaded the first cut, um, you know, second cut. One book came in, one other book I did not expect to be in that quickly. If anything, I expected to come in like 2 weeks from now, you know, when I'm in the middle of these books, and then that one comes in, I'm like, oh, it's perfect. So I had one open slot, put that book in. But I also added two because I forgot to do the, because now February, I forgot to add in the two image books. My personal collection, they add two per month. Now, the two per month, for those of you who want to know, who are like interested in the ones that were for my personal collection, and I kind of did kind of a new thing. One is going to be an all new image book, one I have not read before, and at least not the whole entire volume of. There is one series that I read the first issue of, but not the entire volume. That I do not count as a reread. So one will be a reread, and one will be one I have not read at all. So, there you go. Because I think I have plenty of rereads. I've been doing one per month for when I get the books. And the reason I'm doing image, so I get image books per month. That's pretty much all I buy for physical books is image. I don't I said pretty much it is all I buy. I just, again, like the publisher, I'm a completist, so it's nice to, even if it's a 5-volume series, it's nice to know that that's all that there is of that series. Unless you're Spawn, The Darkness, and Witchblade, then you have several spin-offs. Well, Spawn has several spin-offs. I don't know about Darkness and Witchblade. And if they do, hopefully they can be collected in the Complete Darkness trades. You know, it'll be slow, and we'll get to where we're at with those Complete Darkness trades. By the time we get to where we're at, I will be graying around it'll be all gray. Gray, you know, beard, gray, has gray hair. It's completely gray. And we'll have flying cars by then, by the time we get caught up to where we're at this point in time. So we'll still have a bunch to go left. But hopefully it'll be worth it because we'll have those spin-offs, whatever they had for spin-offs and crossovers or whatever, collected in those Complete Darkness and Witchblade trades. Without further ado, let's get into it. First, we said first five were OGNs. I don't know why I said 6. I think because one of them is technically 2 in 1. It's actually not even an OGN, but I thought it was. And it was 2 of them. It was a compendium. It's 2 of them collected in a compendium. So I just always instinctively just said 6 because of that. And then I just got it stuck in my head, and now I can't, you know. I confused myself. First up is the backups by Alex Campi. I'm gonna keep these relatively short because I assume that most of you guys watching this video, that video. Let's actually see how many videos. Let's see how many views that got. If it got less than I thought it did, or if it got like the lowest out of my last few videos, then I will make this a longer video. Although I do want to read today, and well, I have all day today because it's a snow day. I kind of would like to not be behind. All right. Wow, 63 views, my most recent video. That's awesome. I love how when I do like my, so for the last video was my complete haul for January. And sometimes, well, all the time, I'll split it up because I want to get at least, because that video gets uploaded the first of every month. So January's haul gets uploaded 1st of February. And I want to have the comic haul be uploaded at least the day before, at the most, at least, because sometimes the books will come in late, and then, you know, but I like to get that done on January 31st, for the last of what I got for that month, and I like how that video got the least amount of views, because I don't mind that, like, it's like, whatever, you know, because those videos, usually I will make mistakes, and I'm like, yeah, we'll keep it in. Don't edit it out or do another video. I wouldn't edit it out anyway, so don't do another cut of the video unless it's a really big mistake, and I'll just save it for the complete January haul where I'll make everything the way I want it to be, for the most part. Because even then I make mistakes. Alright, so this one got the least amount of views. Actually, the same amount of views as the last comic haul of January. So it was 23 views, and yeah, like, that's great. Alright. So I will be talking about, I will be reiterating what I meant, what I said before. Alright, so the backups by Alex Campi. Alex Campi is the quintessential example of separating the art from the artist. She did. I count this as murder. If you bully someone into suicide, you have murdered that person because you caused them their strife. You caused them their stress that led to their suicide. So she is a murderer. We do have a murderer in the comic book community, isn't that? Well, not comic book community, in the comic book. I don't want to say community because that implies that she's part of something. No, that implies that like I say community, I think of like legions, like that's a community. But no, the comic book industry. There you go, comic book industry. We have a murderer in the comic book industry. Isn't that great? But yeah, I count it as murder. But Back Up by Alex Campy. Again, separating the art from the artist. You know, she's an awful person in real life, but she writes decent. You know, I've never read anything by her that I'd be like, oh my god, that was really good. Closest is No Mercy, and that was a long time ago. And even then, I remember that not having a definitive ending. It was kind of like, almost like on a cliffhanger, and it was like the end of. It wasn't like, oh, it got canceled to issue 12. No, it was, from what I remember, a definitive ending. It said this is the end. The one thing that I will say is that they had, of course I don't have it here. They had that little library thing. So it was a library book, No Mercy, Volume 3, and they had that thing that you put like a little slip of paper in, you know, that little, whatever you call it, and it was covering the last, like a little flap here, and the last little flap here had more story in it. Not a whole lot because it was just one page, but I think that probably did conclude certain things. That's why I'm glad I have that book in my personal collection, all 3 volumes, because now I can read the last page. But anyways, backups. Know nothing about this series. I probably will end up thinking this is okay. And then here's the book I was talking about before, the 2-in-1, and that is Whiteout Compendium by Greg Rucka. So I will. The good thing about this cut is that I will try my best to remember to say this is the book, this is the author. Now I do not do that for every single books I'll be reading for the next few weeks video. I'll do it for this one because each and every book here, including the image books, I have the author's image work. I have all of Greg Rucka, except for that one volume that's out of print everywhere. I don't got a trade paperback release, even in English, anyways. But it was from Image. It was a long time ago, but I mean, unfortunately, I was gonna have to say I don't, you know, count that technically. I don't know if I do, but you know what I'm saying. Like I don't count it, but that I can't find it. I don't count these single issues because there's like Warren Ellis. He had like a lot of like series that started but never finished. He had like a 3-issue series that I don't think was a 3-issue mini series. It started out as 3 issues. I think it was gonna be like 4 or 5, and it never concluded. So I don't count that. You know. Actually, a great example is Simon Spurrier. He had 2 issues of a series that was, ironically enough, called Singularity, because there's also an image book, an OGN, called Singularity by Matt Groom. So it's kind of funny, there's 2 series called that. I think one's called The Singularity, and then one is just called Singularity. But that was a series by Simon Spurrier first, and it was like 2 issues, never concluded. Never got an issue 3, 4, or 5. So that's a great example of, I don't count that because in the trade, even like the issues, I could get them like off eBay or whatever, but I don't want to do that. Maybe I will later down the line, but I like getting trades for my personal collection books, for my books that I buy myself. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so Whiteout. So Greg Rucka. It's just 2. Technically, this is a mini series. Like the first Whiteout is 4 issues, and the second one was, I think, like maybe another 4 issues. I don't know, but I count this as an OGN because I thought it was an OGN to begin with, and we're gonna continue that streak. And also, this is smaller than your average image. I have an average image trade. Also, this is smaller than your average comic trade. So here we go. But yeah, so this. Ever since, ironically enough, and this was not planned, I did not say when I get a job, this is what I'm gonna be doing from now on. But I've wanted to do this for a long time. I guess my job was like the kick in the pants I needed. I guess I don't know why, because it has nothing to do with anything. It's just when I started doing this. So this entire stack of books from my personal collection. This entire stack of books and the books I'll be reading for the next few weeks, most of them are library books, except for the 2 that are in my personal collection. They're all, like I said, like we have Star Wars by Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron has done a lot of work for Image. I have all of his Image work for now. that's what the stack is. The next stack will be the miscellaneous stuff. Like I want to get the library has a really cool book from Philip Kennedy Johnson that I want to check out, and there's a Tom Taylor book. There's a bunch of authors that have not done anything for Image. It's just like the miscellaneous books, so I can read those. I'm not gonna boycott Frank Miller because he's not done anything for Image except for Spawn, and because I don't count Spawn as something I need from Image, then it doesn't count. I'm not gonna do that. But let's continue. But that's what that is. And that's why I say who the author is. I feel like there's a better way to say that too. Like I should say it like all these authors have done some work for Image. I have their work. The next one is miscellaneous stuff. Yeah. But and you guys understand. I mean, I've been saying this every single time for the comic halls. What stack of books are on? Like this one's the Image guys. The next one will be miscellaneous. And I've been saying that again. I've been saying that since day one. I do like doing it this way because it's a nice way to like separate them. But anyways, continuing on, Big Jim and the White Boy by David F. Walker. I don't know why I had to look at that, but this one I've been waiting to read for ages now. Ever since this book was I want to say it almost was announced, but no, it was I was just scrolling through Amazon one day when I had free time during my work schedule, during my work day, because some class I'm a paraeducator, and some class I got put into, it was like, okay, so you don't need help, awesome. Like the teachers are very good about like saying like this kid needs help, this kid needs help, but gotta help him out, especially the ones where they need extra help. It's so nice. And the kids will ask for help too. Anyways, some days I would have like extra time, so I would scroll through Amazon. And at one time I was scrolling through Amazon, and I saw this, and I knew, or was it? No, it was actually an email, I think, because I'm following these authors on Amazon for my burner account. I think this one came up. I don't remember. It's say both, because I sidetracked myself. Really heavy there. I sidetracked myself really big there with talking about the stupid, was scrolling through Amazon, I think it was both. I don't know. But anyways, Big Jim and the White Boy. I think I was getting confused with The Road, because The Road, I was scrolling through Amazon. I always saw that one in the sponsored section, and the graphic novel adaptation. And I had always wanted to read The Road. It's like, oh, perfect, the graphic novel adaptation. I'm more inclined to read the graphic novel adaptation. Same thing for this. This is the graphic novel adaptation, or a reimagining, actually, of Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer. Next up, we have The Night Eaters, Volume 2 by Marjorie Liu. Volume 3 is not coming out until April. And for the longest time, I actually, because I just assumed that we'd have one volume released every year, I figured, the third and final volume is going to be released this year. 2024, not 2025, but 2024. Because it was one per year. I believe this has been out since 2022. Like, the first volume came out 2022, 2023, and then 2024. 3 in a row. But because Sam Takeda is such an amazing artist, I'm actually going to show the artwork here so you guys can understand it. And because it's so involved, it almost looks like Micah from Monstrous. It's kind of funny. From afar. Let's look at it closer. Yeah, so kind of. Like, you could see it as being her, sister or something like that. Anyways, because Sam Takeda is such an amazing artist, and a lot goes into her artwork, and Marjorie Liu and Sam Takeda are on Monstrous, same exact creative team as Monstrous, and as an ongoing, yeah, it's understandable they're going to be a bit behind. In fact, Monstrous will sometimes go on a bit of a hiatus. I want to say last time it was longer, but it wasn't. It's the same amount of time this time around that it was last time. But it feels like this time around it came back quicker than it did before. I think it's because last year I wasn't so far ahead of myself with checking the solicitations. I almost want to say that, but now I do. Now I'm checking that every single day. Come March, come this month, February, I will be checking come the 10th of February for the May solicits for Image. And every single month, it kind of pisses me off too, because every single month there's at least one book from an author I was like, I thought you never did anything for Image ever again. I thought you fell off the face of the earth as far as Image Comics was concerned, and you were focused on other publishers. Great example is Kurt Pyers. He hasn't written anything for like I want to say 2 years, because he's focusing on his Comixology originals, but he's going back for Image, and it's just it pisses me off because I like the completes. I like having everything by Kurt Pyers. I thought they had literally everything he's ever going to do for Image. And yeah, okay, to think he's never going to go back to the publisher that probably paid him pretty well, and it's kind of stupid, but just thought that. But anyways, just figured that. But anyways, Night Eaters Volume 2 by Marjorie Lewin. Again, Santa Cana. I'm not gonna say who the artist is, because this is not a comic haul. This is different. And for these kinds of videos, because I will talk about each book a little bit longer than I would if it wasn't a comic haul, well, even then, a comic haul, I think we're about the same rate at this point. But anyways, moving on. But yeah, because of that, I won't say who the artist is, and it's the way I've always done it. Like, I'm kind of like on autopilot mode, I guess you could say, sometimes, as far as mentioning who the artist is and like what I do for this video versus comic hauls. Comic hauls, I'll say the writer is, the artist is, what issues the book may collect. I'll show the artwork, interior artwork, just one page or two-page spread. 2 pages like this. Like okay, here's the artwork, like that. That's what I'll do. I only do that once because I actually got a comment on this. The commenter wanted me to show more of the book. The reason why I don't do that is because I don't want to show any spoilers for myself or others. Because again, you have like 1 or 2 books that I read before, so I don't want to be showing off the newest volume of Monstrous and have a huge spoiler show up because I showed more than showed the book more than once, the interior artwork more than once. But I still want to show the interior artwork because especially with something like Monstrous, that's really damn good artwork. I always want to get people to buy it, but I always want to entice people who may be skeptical about it, and they say, "Oh, that's good artwork. I like good artwork. I'll buy this book now." There you go. Because me just saying it's a good artist, a good artwork is kind of like, yeah, you say about a bunch of books, But anyways, moving on, we have Joshua Williamson's Batman One Bad Day, Bane. This is one that even your boy Zach liked, and your boy Zach, especially from modern comics, is a very tough critic. So when he says something is good, that means something is excellent. So I cannot wait to read this one. As long as it's better than the Tom King Batman One Bad Day Riddler, I will be fine with it. And even that one I need to reread. I think it was just like thinking it'd be bigger than I thought it would be. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Alright, so this is the... Oh, you didn't get that one yet. That's not a reread. So I think we said, again, the first 14 and a half were rereads, right? Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, what the hell is going on here? 10 and a half? Why is it always less than I thought it was? Oh, doy. Oh, that's why. Ah, crap. That's why. Because I didn't put in the ones I checked out so many books this time around that I have to read some of them now. And then like I took like eight of them or so because I checked out so many. So glad I caught myself there. Thankfully, none of them were OGN, so we're still on the money here. How did I do that? Okay, so there. Now what's good about that is I only have it in one stack. So that's the stack that was library books. So I'll add this here, and while I scramble around, I will get some like rambling. You guys like me rambling man while I'm trying to do this? Alright. So we said 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half. Put that half book here at the beginning. Oh, it's there already, right? Is there already? Yeah, you're already. Cool. Because I got ahead of myself, because I'm smart like that. Okay, so there. And then here. Oh, and those two. Okay. Oh, that one. That one's on library book. Well, I already saw that one. Alright, so got all that, because there's no library books here. Because again, I'm trying to read all library books in one day. Not one day, like one of each per day. One whole entire day, and then the next day I do the miscellaneous ones I haven't finished yet from my personal collection. I'm still in that stack, by the way. Stack that had Absolution, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Comics, X-Men, Batman Eternal, All-Star Superman, and so on. I'm still on that huge ass stack. The 14,000 Tom King books I decided to add to there. Alright, so now we should be good. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half. Technically 15, because I gotta add in the image book on my PC. Alright. Well, you do that back to back. Good idea. Well, did not pick the best idea to do that, huh? Probably should just kept it where it was. You know what I mean? Like, trying to say something that's... You'll see what I mean in a second. Alright. Wonder Woman Volume 2, Guts. This is a So yeah, first 15 and a half are going to be rereads, ones I've read before. Starting with Wonder Woman Volume 2, Guts, Brian Azzarello. So the reason why I do rereads is for 3 reasons. I'm going to say them all right now. So number 1 is like with this book, every 6 months rule. Really like this book. I want to read it on average every 6 months. That's, I would say 6 months, especially even for books like Preacher. It's about the time it takes for me to want to reread a book, because I start forgetting a little bit, some details here and there, and I'm like, okay, let's reread this book so it's fresh in my memory. That's why I will do rereads, obviously. But it's, again, every 6 months, on average. Something like Wonder Woman, I would say, honestly, like at 3 months. Nah, I say that in the middle. So probably like, well, in the middle, it would be 3 months. But like more like 4 or 5 months. So it's towards the end. Not in the middle, but towards the end. Just because sometimes I forget about it. It's kind of funny to think about. But yeah, Wonder Woman, every 6 months. I really like this run. I really love Brian Azzarello too. His writing. I have not read a single thing by Brian Azzarello I have not liked. Even his Superman, I was like, yeah, it's not the best interpretation of the character, but I still can like the writing. That's really the closest I would say to me not liking his writing. The book I didn't like by him, but again, his writing in general I think is extremely solid. Even for something like Moonshine, I read the first issue of. Give it a second chance, in fact. I liked it a lot more than I did the first time, and hence why I have all 5 volumes. I actually get on that pretty soon here, huh? Sure. Ugh, why is it like that? Ugh, that was terrible. So, as an example, so I count the entire 5-volume series of Moonshine as one entry in the image books that I'll be reading this year. You know, one that's not a reread, one that is a reread. So whenever I get to on Moonshine, I probably should do it in May, like maybe going into May into June. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison. This is volume 3 of 3. But then we have that one volume after that. It's not written by Grant Morrison. That I cannot find in the library, which is really annoying because it starts off Pierre J. Tomasi's run on Batman and Robin. Yeah, very annoying. But this one has been really damn good. And yeah, I know I should be starting off with Batman Son, which I have my PC. I think I have the first entire omnibus in the trades that they originally came out in. In the original trades that came out in, I have the first omnibus in my PC. I do one day, and that's probably what I'll do going forward. Like this year, I'll be going and reading Grant Morrison's entire run from start to finish on Batman. But this is just so damn good, I could not wait. I was like, nope, we're reading Batman and Robin again, and then maybe after that we'll go on Batman and Son. I liked what I've read so far at Batman and Son, but I think a lot of it, because of how groundbreaking these books are, these Batman books are, I know what happens in them because they've been talked about so much. Like Batman and Son, yeah, there's actual stories in there, and the deluxe edition trade paperback I have also has a black glove. And that probably is a great example of, even though I know what happens in Batman and Son, I know it's just the introduction of Damian Wayne. Of course, he has some, there's conflict in there that I do want to read the book for. But again, it's just the introduction of Damian Wayne. Like, I can read this and know who Damian Wayne is. He's introduced as Batman and Son, I haven't been too terribly confused reading this book. But yeah, so volume 3, specifically called Batman and Robin Must Die. Well, actually, I don't think I ever said what the specific volumes were for these kinds of books, these kinds of videos. Now. Well, actually, I should put this on that side so I have all the books I'm reading. Yeah. So, Batman Fortress, Grey Widow. This is a great example of an every 6-month rule that I really should limit to every 6 months. I want to say I read this 2 months ago. Like, even people that say they're new to the channel have probably seen this book before. Like, really, because I read this fairly recently. As I'm reading this, I'm like, there's a couple of things I don't remember, like a couple little lines of dialogue or whatever. Obviously, I'm not going to remember anyways, and some little bits of, like, important dialogue that explains certain things. I was like, I didn't notice that before. But I could have waited until, like, at least March or April. Maybe April. But whatever, I have it right now. It's just, I just really like the series. So, a good example is the first issue of, like, of rereading a book and gaining more and more details and having it fresh in memory is because I said the first issue that Batman, with the whole controversy behind this book, is the first issue Batman is, because the whole premise behind this book is there's a blackout, so riots ensue, obviously, and Batman's seeing all these looters. He's like, these people are not my concern. My concern is the bigger criminals. But it was kind of the same. Like, one of them was like holding people hostage because the blackout. Everyone's going crazy too, because he's gonna blackout. And that was kind of a good example of, these looters could be going insane too. It could be attacking others and attacking innocent people. But Batman is not going to do a thing about it, and the police obviously can't or aren't. So it's like, okay, then you do both. But it's supposed to be like he can't do everything, obviously. Even though he's Batman, he can't do everything. So he's trying to go after people that are actually, like, straight up about to kill people, instead of the looters who maybe just push people aside or something like that. And then the worst I do is just steal things. So I guess that's what it's trying to go for. But it's just kind of, it is better explained if you reread it, like I have been doing. But it is still something I understand. But I'm kind of in the middle of it, if anything. But that is the main controversy behind this book. But once you get past that, and honestly, they could just take that out. Like, they could just say, like, you could just cut that part out, and then have him go after that one guy who's holding these people hostage while they're killing these people, and then just have that. You don't need to say the thing about looters. You skip to that, I don't think this book would be as controversial as it is. As it stands, it's pretty damn good, I haven't read this, again, I haven't finished it yet, but because it's a reread, it hasn't changed. Like, I've never read this book for a reread and be like, oh my god, this is awful, I hate this book so much, and then I throw it away. No. It's, I still like it. I'm so glad I decided to have this book be what's called a, materials request book. And that's a materials request is if your interloan library does not have a copy at any other libraries, you can't interloan it, you can put a materials request in for your local library to get it. So this is a materials request book. My local library got it because no one else had it. I'm glad I did that. Because there's so many books I could put in instead. The 2 criteria for those is it has to be a new release, and it has to be something that all of them, like, at least a good amount of people would want to read. Batman is a popular character, so they got that, so it's Batman. Pretty easy. But something like Flawed, I almost didn't expect to be in. That's why I bought it myself. And then I forgot about it, and then came in, I was like, oh crap. And then, because I own Flawed, but now whenever I read Flawed, whenever I reread that, it's probably this year, so you'll see at the end of the year video of the image books I've read in my personal collection video, yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, train of thought's gone. Train of thoughts, I left the building. But that's, so I was saying that guy. So. Oh, and then when I read Flawed, it'll be my library's copy. Because my library was, it's only $15 trade. And it's a cheaper trade even for image, it's a good price. But even then, I still want to read the library's copy because I want to utilize the most of that. Because I don't think it's ever been checked out by anyone but me. I think because there was a marking that I didn't make on the book. I know I didn't make on the book. And I think that was like, okay, since someone else did check it out. But I've never, when I want to check out Flawed, I've never not had it be available at the library, like on shelf. So it's like, yeah, it's like almost like I feel bad kind of thing, as funny as that's going to sound. But anyways, moving on. Preacher book 4. This is the good example, like I said before, of the every 6 month, actually 6 month rule. Because not only is Preacher been a book that is my favorite comic of all time, plus I'll remember the most about it, and just the way that it's written, you just remember the most, is so memorable. But also because every 6 month, but also because it's 60 issues. Yeah, six of these, like six of these thicker trades, so it's only like 6 times, but still, it's a lot of book to read. And again, it's pretty thick. Each volume is pretty thick, especially the second one. For whatever reason, I think the second one is like 14 issues, and for whatever reason, I think it's the most they could put into a book. But I don't think I realized that volume 4 is shorter because there's special double-sized issues in there. You know, like this one has 2 of them, right? I don't know. Yes, this one, yeah, One Man's War. I remember that being a double-sized issue. Alright. Yeah, Preacher. Garth Ennis, by the way. Garth Ennis writes this. So I said it for Gary Whitta. For Batman Fortress, I said it was Gary Whitta. Just in case I didn't say if Batman Fortress is Gary Whitta. I'm pretty sure I did. I may have forgotten, though. I was so caught behind the controversies and explaining that and, you know, reiterating. Ram V. These Savage Shores. This is a great example of a... Oh, did I not mention it? I didn't do all 3 of them. Damn it. Alright, so it's every 6-month rule, and for something like this is the reread to redeem. I read this before and didn't like it as much. I think I want to say I've read this twice now, and the second time I've read it, I liked it a lot more, but I can't remember a single thing about this book. Like, I know I read this, I'm almost positive I read this before, but, here's our marking that I make. Oh, there's not. Damn it. So, is this a reread? I'm pretty sure it is. I want to say I read this before. I don't know. So yeah, maybe it's a reread, but if it is, it's a reread to redeem. I've not read anything by Ram V I've been totally blown away with. The closest is Layla Starr, because I remember the second time I read Layla Starr, I should have not instead, but the second time I read Layla Starr, I liked a lot more than I did the first time, but I'm still not super impressed. Because it was one of those books that everyone loved, and it was like going up for 5,000 awards, and even the people that don't like comics anymore, they said it was pretty good, so I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And then I read it and I was like, yeah, it was okay. And I reread it in the sense of having no real expectations, and still I was left disappointed. Yes, These Savage Shores, Ram V, reread to redeem. Okay, so I'm gonna put those to the side. So those ones for reading. There. No, I can't keep it there. There. Alright. So, there. Alright. Next one up, I will probably be returning and replacing for not the complete collection trade, because this is already past due, because for whatever reason someone else wants this book, and that is Transmetropolitan Book 1. Now, this is a reread, but not this specific trade. This specific trade is the complete collections, like the Preacher one, but for Transmetropolitan. Every single time I've read Transmetropolitan, I've read the individual trades. There's 10 of them. 5 of these, 10 of those. So, I want to read this in this format. Even then, I don't think they have all 5 of these at the library that lends this book to me. It's kind of annoying because, again, like I said before, this looks to be like a deluxe edition format where they have a little bit extra here and there. Good example is they never had this here. Not that I would want it anyways, but never had this after issue 1. I hate it here then. But yeah, Transmetropolitan is in my top 10. So top 5, it's like number 6. But top 5 is Preacher, obviously, Sin City, like it's top 5 of all time. Preacher, Sin City, Wicked and Divine, Paper Girls, and what's the 5th one? I can never remember one entry. And Walking Dead, doy. So in order, it would be Preacher, Sin City, Walking Dead, Paper Girls, Wicked and Divine. Although Wicked and Divine and Paper Girls is like the same. But that's my top 5. And number 6 would be Transmetropolitan. Transmetropolitan is a good example of that series that if I think of a book that I'm like, I think I liked that more than I liked Transmetropolitan, that will go down one entry. It's a good series, but kind of like, it's Warren Ellis's best work, at least, you know? But it just says there's a lot of flaws with this book, but not major flaws, just a bunch of little flaws that kind of add up. Time to run here. Okay, almost 10:30. We're good at time. But it's kind of like a lot of small ones. Oh my god, finally. Right? Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Alright, just want to order. Just want to order shipped. The last of my orders shipped. That sort of thing. Keep on the eye. Keep out on the eye for that. But anyways, Transmetropolitan, Warren Ellis. Just like I said before, it's just his work I do like, and I do like the author, but even something like Transmetropolitan has just a few flaws that I'm like, it keeps me from thoroughly enjoying the series, giving it a 10 out of 10 every time I read it. Preacher, every time I read it, it's 10 out of 10. Like, I'm sure I could read Preacher all again in, like, April, where it's only been 2 months, and almost every detail is fresh in my memory, and I'd still give every volume a 10 out of 10, even though I can basically read the whole entire story, like, in my memory. Like, I can, like, predict every line, almost. That's how quick it would be from that reread. But, you know, but it definitely, the first time I read Transmetropolitan, so hard to say that word, by the way, I did not like it. It's a great example of why I do the reread to redeems. Sometimes I will come out liking a book a lot more than I did this first time. Second time around, I like a lot more than the first time. Preacher is a great example too. Like, probably the best example is Preacher, but I always hesitate because I just read the first issue, and even then I just had no expectations at all of what the book would be about. And I watched a trailer beforehand, and I thought the series would be like that trailer. We get right into what that trailer promises. We had a little boy wanting Jesse Custer to kill his abusive father. It's never been also it's never been a storyline in Preacher, by the way. And I thought that's where it started out, like he'd meet the boy or something like that, but it never happened. I think that's what it was. And then I read it again, and I was like, with that expectation in mind, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I need to read this entire series. Read the entire series, and right then and there, it became my favorite comic book of all time. Yeah, it was just the first issue. Which even then, like, it's a good first issue, but I would argue that you need to read the first. You need definitely to read the first complete collection, first 12 issues, because that is honestly the best story arc in the entire series. Is those first 12 issues, best villains, best pacing, best everything, and it gives you like everything. Like, honestly, it's perfect. Like, that first volume is a perfect introduction into Preacher, and it's just 12 issues out of 60. Insane. That we get so that they cook right from the start, as the kids would say. It's really weird. It's a really weird word, by the way, because you say we're cooked as in we're screwed, but then you say he's cooking as in he's doing really good. So, like, it means the same thing. Like, it's not like, well, okay, screwed means two things too, but like, you say we're screwed, it's another way of saying we're fucked. So, but yeah, you can say, oh, we're vulgar, you know, it's having sex, you know, like, it's kind of weird to me to think about that. Cooked means two completely different things, like complete opposite. Because you could argue that we're screwed does mean, if you really think about it, what it actually means. Like, you're saying, like, yeah, we're not actually getting screwed, but we're screwed as in, like, you know. But yeah. I mean, I know it's also a Gen Alpha term, and obviously they're not going to make sense to begin with, in the sense of what you think. But even sus, like suspicious, it's a quicker way of saying suspicious. Suspicious is an actual word. Suspicious means something's acting weird. Sus means the same exact thing, but it comes from Among Us, so it's sus. You know, it's still a Gen Alpha term because no one before then really said sus unless it was a YTP, and I was like, it was almost SOS, not SUS. You know. This has been it's been Justin's rant on Gen Alpha. I should do that video because I work with Gen Alpha people. Most of them are good though. Like, I like that class I work with. It's like it takes up all my schedule, but pretty much all my schedule. But I like that class. So in the same exact room for like almost entire day. But anyways, Transmetropolitan. We're still on this. Okay, let's move on. But yeah, like I keep saying, basically what I was trying to say is that it's definitely top 10. It will always be top 10. I don't know what I pick for top 10 though. Like beyond top 5 and beyond the 6th entry, maybe 7 would be Saga, but I haven't finished Saga, so I can't really say that. But yeah, I should do that one of these days. Go my top 10 comics all the time. I do top 5 of that. Again, out of like, again, like it's no real thought process behind my top 5 because it's always been the same and it's never changed except for Transmetropolitan, obviously. All right, Loki the Liar, Dan Watters, reread to redeem. Did not like this a whole lot the first time I read it. I want to say I read it. Actually, I did that. That's right too. I did read it twice. The second time I liked it a little bit more. So hopefully third time's a charm because I never have picked this book up, seen it at the library, be like, oh my god, I want to read this book again, and I check it out. No, it hasn't happened yet, but maybe it will soon. Avengers World. This every 6 months, but definitely 6 months. Honestly, it's a little bit more than every 6 months because of this huge ass trade. This is 21 plus issues in one super thick, greatly priced trade. Like greatly priced in the sense that like this is an extremely good price. This is $40 for basically what could be in an omnibus. Your average omnibus collects, I would say, 21 issues of book, and this is a soft cover. And this is a good advertisement for you. You don't need to get the omnibus. There's a soft cover compendium of it. Just get the compendium. That's what I would say, anyways. For something like this, like you're not gonna have any real binding issues. Compendiums like that Invincible one, I can understand. I'm gonna talk about it now. Damn it. Wait, nope. Alright, now I gotta speed things up. Alright. I've been prattling on too much. Honestly, I'm gonna get my book too. Alright. So I'm just gonna, so for these, if I need to mention anything, I will mention something. I'm best to remember that. Alright, so Shattered Empire Star Wars. Greg Rucka. For Avengers World. Avengers World is a really good one because it has several authors. You have Nick Spencer, Jonathan Hickman, or anything by Jonathan Hickman for Image. I need to do that though. We got Nick Spencer, which I got everything for him by at Christmas time. We have Frank Barbiere, which is a great example of an author I don't know anything about because not anything about, but like I feel like he does nothing. I didn't even know who the guy was when I wanted to buy Five Ghosts, and I remember being super surprised he had written something I'd read before, but I hadn't read in a long time. But yeah, Avengers World. But then we have Shattered Empire, Greg Rucka, every 6 months. But this is a great example of why I got to watch the original trilogy. I've watched every Star Wars except for the prequels and Episode 6. Episode 6, as no one says it's really that great. Like, out of the trilogy, they're like, yeah, that was okay. Like, kind of like how Back to the Future Part 3 I'll never watch because no one really likes that one. They say it's kind of okay, kind of like the, it's still good, but it's because how good the past two were. It's kind of like, and that's kind of why I'm like, you know what? I have so many other movies to watch. Let's just put that to the back burner, and I never end up watching it. Yeah, Shattered Empire. Then we have, why did I put that there? Oh, what did I do? Okay, we can't do that. I was gonna do the Jason Aaron back. I can't do that. Alright. Darth Vader and Star Wars. These are the ones I like the most. They're awesome. Check these out. Like, every time I read them, I like them even more. I almost want to say it's like the preacher of Star Wars books, almost. But Darth Vader by Kieran Gillen and Star Wars by Jason Aaron. Star Wars, Jason Aaron, Darth Vader, Kieran Gillen. Alright. I've talked about those books so many times, I don't need to say it again. Anything that, besides that. Scalps, Jason Aaron. This is, they finally have the entire series, local library interloans, so I can finally finish the series. So I gotta reread it to remember what happens. So I can't jump right into volume 9 and expect to remember what's going on, what happened in volume 8, where volume 8 left off. So reread to refresh. So it's every 6 months, reread because I liked it, reread to redeem, reread to refresh. Batgirl is reread every 6 months. Love this run. No one else seems to. I mean, there's a good amount of people that like it, but it's like, it gets so much hate for no reason. I get it. but it's New 52. They want to go back to basics, and they didn't have the best way of explaining how she got her legs back. Oh well. Ant-Man. This one I like, so not even every 6. I'm gonna say every 6 months to not confuse you guys, but it's more like every year. Kind of forgot about that book, by the way. If anything. Alright, 1036. Alright. And now, for one of them, this is my PC, I'll be rereading, and that's The Other Side with Jason Aaron. Cannot wait to reread this. Alright. I put that back on the shelf. So there's still a lot, even with, it's gonna be 24 books. Even after I finish that stack, I had to put back into this pile. It was 22, because 22 on average is how much I could read per day, but 24 is pushing it. So I had to put those 2 aside, the 2 image books aside for now. But as I think some of them are 4-issue series, so I'll just put those. Sometimes it's like exactly 2, so I'll put in the 2 that I want in my personal collection, replace those, put those back in once I finish those 4-issue series. It works out perfectly. And both those, like, the other one that I haven't shown off yet is 7 issues. Anyways, I'm going to show that off actually after this. So this is why I keep saying 15 and a half, because I've read half of this book. I would say half of this book at least. This is Black Widow, Widowmaker. Had this on Prime Reading for the longest time. Prime Reading being Kindle's like, hey, if you get a Prime account, you can read this for free. And you can keep them in there. You can basically have a book for free as long as you don't mind not being able to replace it with other books, because like, you only get 10 entries. 10, you can get anything more than 10. You can't even pay more to have more entries. You only put 10 books in for Prime Reading. That's it. Nothing more. You could do less if you want to, but only 10. And that sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot, especially if DC Comics decides to put a bunch of theirs in for Prime Reading. Not anymore, because they've been skimping out on Prime Reading. I'm seriously considering getting a Comixology Unlimited subscription. I can still read those Comixology Original, which is nice, with my Prime Reading account, but I want to get a Comixology Unlimited. Because I wonder if it will have like unlimited entries. Like you can have like however many books you want to trade in and out. But I think it'll be 10. So why is it called Unlimited then? I don't know. They used to have an app though. I think the app would have been perfect to have. But anyways, as I would have counted that. But anyways, this one was on there forever, but they have a trade at my library, so I'll be taking out the trade on my Kindle. But I don't know, because this is really, the trade itself is beat up, as you can see. There's just an example, like, you can see like the little wavy. Yeah. Alright. Gotham Academy. So now we're on to ones I'm reading for the first time. Gotham Academy second semester. This is the 4th overall volume, but they wanted to do a revamp. They told you it was second semester, so it's like, okay, this is a sequel to Gotham Academy. Even though it says volume 1, this is not the first volume of Gotham Academy. Okay, I still don't like to do that. I think it's a stupid thing to do. Really stupid thing to do. It's one thing going from Convergence to Rebirth, but going from New 52 to Convergence, you shouldn't go back to volume 1. That's kind of dumb. Like that one. Yeah. This is the whole reason why I'm doing this to begin with, other than showing off the other side, and that is this book came in for me the other day, Deadpool and Wolverine World War III. This is one of those that was just too new for me to get it right away, so it showed up as active on my account, while other patrons got their copy first, and then it showed up on my account, as you see. But yeah. And the other image book is I Kill Giants. Yes, because I got the Ken Numura, got what he wrote for Image. I was like, to celebrate, let's finally read this one. Because I've had this on my PC forever. Since at least 2019. Because I go by what it says over here on their special, on Newbury Comics, is this special little barcode thing there. Which I always take off when I read a book. And I shouldn't, because I like to always reminisce and see, oh, I got this back in 2019. I remember that day, like, or was that? It's been that long. That's crazy. But yeah, But for the longest time, I wanted to get everything by Joe Kelly for Image Comics. Then to celebrate while I read this, but we're doing this now. And yes, I will be checking out the movie. With no real expectations. Alright, Clean Room, Gail Simone, Volume 2. Great series so far. Abbott, 1973. This, I thought this would be a 2-volume series, but it's a 3rd volume, so I'll be rereading Abbott 1 and 2 when that 3rd volume comes out for the local library if they ever get it. Again, interloan library. Local library means actual local library. If they have local library, that means interloan. Midnighter Volume 2, Steve Orlando. I don't think they even have Midnighter and Apollo, but they had this, so it's like, you know what? Read what they have. You may not be able to finish his entire run on Midnighter, but at least you'll have the first 2 volumes of Steve Orlando's run on Midnighter. Oh, Joe Kelly, by the way, you saw it. You guys saw it. For I Kill Giants, Joe Kelly. But just in case you didn't see it, Joe Kelly for I Kill Giants. Scott Snyder's Wildfire. Dying to read this book for the longest time. Didn't even think the library had it. They did. And again, it's more than 1 volume, but I don't think I have volume 2, but whatever. Again, you start out. What if I start reading a series I don't like it, you know, and I'm like fine with not having the entire series. Abbott is like borderline. You know, I like the series enough, but not enough to be like, oh, I need to read every single volume. And like, yeah, let me just have volume 3. So be it. No loss there. Penguin by Tom King and technically Chip Zdarsky, although he's not credited on the here because he only did issue 0. Issue 0 is just collecting his Batman run backups that explain what happened to Penguin. So when you read issue 1, you're not lost if you haven't read his Batman run, Chip Zdarsky's Batman run. Good thing to do. I like that. Yes, Penguin, Tom King. I hear it's good. Will it be the next Superman Up in the Sky? We shall see. Then we have Suicide Squad by Brian Azzarello, by Brian Buccellato. So excited to read this one because I never even think they had anything by Brian Buccellato at my local library, interloan or otherwise, I hadn't read before. So I thought I only had Flash and then his Head Wound Sparrow. And other than that, like, Volume 5 of Superman and Wonder Woman, you know. That was it. But no, they had a Suicide Squad book. And it's technically and it seems to be part of the New 52 run, which I'm currently reading. This is Volume 4, A.L. Scott. It's kind of nice it's kind of funny how Suicide Squad, like, it's like Batman by Scott Snyder is always Scott Snyder. Maybe you had 1 issue written by Gail Simone, but for the most part, it was all Scott Snyder. Same with Gail Simone's Batgirl run until she got fired off the book, and fired in general. But if she had not been fired or kicked out the book, she would have kept writing that run until the last issue, you know, because it was always going to be only 52 issues, hence New 52. But again, Scott Snyder, everything, this Batman run all written by him. But it's funny, like Suicide Squad was like, oh yeah, Adam Glass. Now it's A.L. Scott. After this, it's going to be Matt Kindt. It's kind of funny. Funny little observation. Brian Azzarello, he had a Wonder Woman run, but I think he told the story he wanted to tell. So after Volume 6, it goes to he pawns it off to Meredith Finch. I like that run. I like all of Wonder Woman New 52. No matter who's writing it. Brian Azzarello's run's a lot better, but Meredith Finch's run is still pretty good. Worth checking out. Gem and the Holograms, Kelly Thompson. Great example of, I got this book because Kelly Thompson wrote it. I want to see Kelly Thompson writing Gem and the Holograms, and I wouldn't have picked up this book otherwise, but hey, good author. Decent author. Batman Heart of Hush by Paul Dini. If I had to pick the most anticipated book, which I should start doing that, by the way, my most anticipated book I'll be reading, it's this. It's a sequel to Hush that some say is better than the original. And it's Paul Dini. Expectations are pretty high. They shouldn't be, but they are. Batman Fortnite, 0 Point. This is written by Christmas Gage. Love his writing, because I've loved his Absolution. So, let's see what it does for Batman Fortnite. Again, library had it. I always was somewhat interested in checking out the Batman Fortnite book. I've never played this. I've played like 2 seconds of Fortnite, so they're gonna have characters in here. I'm like, who's that? Who's that? I don't know who these are. I don't get these jokes, but hey, I want to check it out. Pure curiosity. Stumptown, Greg Rucka. Then this is a good example of I think I checked twice, and the first time I checked, all I saw was like Star Wars, Lazarus, which I already have, Old Guard, which I already have. So it's like, yeah, what's the point of let's check again, but oh, Stumptown, cool. And I check it out, and I had it too. Because sometimes, so there's 2 interloan library systems. One is great, one's bad. And the one that's bad is just like sometimes they'll say, we have a book. Oh, wait, we don't. Haha. And then they will do something like, they'll do the opposite. We don't have this book. Oh, wait, we do. Haha. Their new system is so much better. Their new system, they'll say, we don't have a book because we lost a book. But they tell you right away. All right, almost done. Witches of World War II, Paul Cornell. Will this be as good as his... Not Man Cave. I forgot what publisher it was. I remember, I looked it up after I did my first cut, so I should remember it now. But will it be as good as his magnum opus, I Walk with Monsters? Time will tell. But I loved his... I Walk with Monsters was so damn good. His Doctor Who was awful. And this one, let's see how that will be good. Let's see if this one will be good. It wasn't awful, it was just kind of boring. And that's something I never thought I'd say about Paul Cornell's writing. Because he also wrote that Black Widow book. Who wrote that Black Widow book? Damn it. So Black Widow is a bunch of writers. It's Marjorie Liu, it's Paul Cornell, yeah. Several writers. Sentient, Jeff Lemire. That's it. But Sentient, I'm dying to read. Hey, these two, they're two TKO books back to back, with their trade is bigger than your average trade. So I put at the bottom. Alright, so that is it. Finally get that video done. Alright, so let's do... So, those of you who want to know exactly who wrote Black Widow, this trade here, let's go over it. So, we have Paul Cornell, we have Marjorie Liu, we have Kelly Sue DeConnick, we have Joe Aberrain. Don't know who that is. He's obviously not an Image guy. Sometimes that'll happen with complete collections like this and Avengers World. It's bound to happen. Because actually, Avengers World has one book by Al Ewing, and all Al Ewing has done for Image is a 5-page story, so I don't count that. For an anthology series, I don't count it. Dwayne Seresky, no. Jim McCann, yes. Dwayne again. And then Cullen Bunn. So, stacked cast for this Black Widow book. Because Dwayne is a pretty good writer, too. I remember... Also, actually, have I read anything by Dwayne he's written? Because I know he's done Birds of Prey, but I never got to read that from the beginning. I don't know. Alright, but that is it. Put these books back where they belong. There. That's it. And if oh my god, 58 minutes. Alright, so if I get a book, if I get another book by, we get another book that was, there's a Ron V book that I want to read, but it was active in my account because there was someone else that checked it out. If that shows up before I review these books or before I finish all these books, then I will get that book beforehand. I'm not going to do another cut. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I'm pretty satisfied with this cut. Only mistake I made was not going over the writers for Black Widow. And then Avengers will go back in time. But hey, this is the post-credits scene. That's what I like to do. Like, at the end of the video, if I forget to mention anything, I do it here, so those of you guys who stuck around for an entire video can now get what you want. That's it. Or, not what you want, but